I don't know what it is, but I feel a little nervous today. It could be because I haven't recorded me speaking in a while. Maybe because of all of these lights that are facing me. Whatever it is, y'all, my stomach is turning. I'm passing gas. I feel nervous right now. So let me just relax. Let me eat something because I have not eaten yet. I have some apples, kiwis, and bananas. Okay. One thing about this pregnancy compared to the last three, it is not the same. This pregnancy forces me to eat food. But before I get into it, y'all, thank y'all for coming in to my channel once more. If you are new, my name is D, and I have a platform called Back to Mama on Instagram, Facebook, here, and on TikTok. And it is a place where I promote and encourage and support natural beauty, natural body, and the natural you. But for this video, for these next series of posts, it would be about being pregnant with baby number 4 at the age of 31 and just taking you all on the journey. So if you are interested, follow along because it's going to get juicy. It's going to get juicy. So to begin, I have 3 children, ages 14, one is turning 11 soon, and 8. I have not had a pregnancy or a child in like 9 years, okay? It's been a while. It's been a long time coming, but I know Jane's gonna come. Oh, yes, it will. It's like, but this pregnancy, y'all, for one, how it crept up on me was beyond this world. We were not expecting it at all. It just crept up in the mix, in the transition of life. And what I once thought was a health scare, it was actually a pregnancy. So let me fill you in just real quick. In December of 2024, I went on a 3-day coconut water fast. I did not plan for it. I felt the urge to just come into this coconut fast cold turkey, okay? Went into this coconut fast. I was fine. I was up, okay? I was out, I was up, I was fine. It was all peachy cream. I felt empowered, okay? On the last day, which is kind of why I ended it, because I went into this fast without a certain end period in mind. But around the 3rd day, I was like, okay, yeah, something is telling me I feel like it's time for me to come up on out of this thing. After coming off of that coconut fast, I did not feel well at all, y'all. When I say at all, okay? I felt like my body was shutting down. It was screaming for help, and I didn't know how to care for it. I've tried things that I could think of, and it just did not seem to help it. I felt like there was an imbalance. I've never felt like blood pressure or blood sugar um like fluctuations, but if I had to express how what express how what express of how what I felt like it felt like that. It felt like something was going down and it wasn't supposed to be. I felt weak. I was like trembling a lot. Um, I had increase of heart rate. I felt more anxious, more panicky. I felt unsafe. Like, yo, oh snap. Now that I'm thinking about it, what if all of the emotions I felt were actually the baby's emotions? Because I felt unsafe. And I know that the child felt unsafe, but I felt unsafe to a point where I was like, oh my gosh, like this is not me. I don't know what is going on, but I've never experienced this. I had to go to the hospital because I didn't know what to do.
I didn't know what to do. I didn't know what to do.
If you know me, you know that I'm not pro hospital, pro pills, pro getting medication and care from those type of institutions unless it is a emergency. So the fact that I had to pull myself to go to the hospital, and not once but twice, it was a emotional, a spiritual, a physical, a mental challenge experience, and it was traumatizing. I remember the first hospital trip, the nurse came out and she was pushing me back inside of this wheelchair. Now, y'all, as she's pulling me back, I'm crying. I am crying like I cannot believe that I had to come to the hospital. What is wrong with me? I never come to the hospital unless I have a child. And I just couldn't fathom the fact that I was being admitted, like I was coming into the hospital, like I was in the ER with my husband and children. I just couldn't believe it. I couldn't believe it. So fast forward, because I told y'all that I'm gonna tell y'all real quick, and I've been talking for 5 minutes. My phosphorus potassium was low. They plugged me up on a IV, um and they administered administered phosphorus, potassium through the IV. They checked my heart, they checked my blood pressure. Everything else on these tests were fine except the phosphorus, potassium. And they said that I had some white blood cells that were a little low. That's it. They asked me if I was pregnant. I said no. And they tested me for a pregnancy. After all of these tests came back, I asked them, what did all of the tests say? They told me specifically for the pregnancy, they told me that I'm not pregnant. So I'm thinking, oh, all right. Even at that time, I didn't even put pregnancy into the equation at all. Like, cause I'm like, this can't be pregnancy. Cause if so, so they sent me home. I felt fine. I felt okay. I went home, and then sooner or later, those those same symptoms kept on coming back. And I went back to the ER. I went to a different one. This time, they said that my magnesium was almost low, so they was going to pump me up on that just for like like healthy cause. And they said that my potassium phosphorus was low again. So they pumped me up on that. Throughout this time, from the first hospital visit, they prescribed me with this electrolyte powder. Okay. And this is getting a little personal. But if you know me personally, or if you've been a supporter from a long time, then you can kind of put two and two together as far as how I live. But they prescribed me with this electrolyte powder. That was a whole thing to in itself, because I'm like, oh my gosh, like they put me onto a prescription. Like, I don't take drugs. I was just like, I cannot believe that I have a prescription at CVS. Y'all, I know that sounds crazy, but I've never, like, the last prescriptions that I was on was birth control pills, and that was like in 2013. So for me to be in 2025 and I have to go and pick up a prescription from the pharmacy, and we all know what comes along with that pharmacy stuff. I was just like, I cannot believe it. Like, oh my God. But at that point, I was desperate for some type of help. I've tried a lot of things at home and it didn't help. And on top of that, I hated the way that I felt. I've never felt this way. I just felt like my body was not my body. And there was no way like out of it. I know that sounds weird. And I think that that feeling also played on why I felt more anxious and like panicky, because I'm like, yo, this is not me. Who is this? What is this? And how can I get me back? Because this feels terrible. It was scary, it was terrible, and it was not comfortable at all. So back to the prescriptions. I was a little bit okay with taking the electrolyte powder. One, because it was an electrolyte powder, okay? It was something that I could literally go and get from off of Amazon. The CVS pharmacist even said you can actually go and purchase this off of Amazon because it's cheaper there. So I felt a little bit okay taking it because I'm like, okay, at least this is something that is over the counter. This is something that you can get off of Amazon. It can't be too bad. I looked at the ingredients. It had a couple of things that I wouldn't normally take. It was like their sweeteners and stuff like that. And I was like, I don't really want to take it, but at this point, I need to take whatever these people say that could possibly help, because at this point I've tried all that I know. I'm tired, I'm weak, I'm scared, and I just need help. I took these packets. I didn't feel as terrible, but like from time to time I would still have some type of episode of feeling weak, panicking, heart increasing, being cold. And throughout this time, my appetite was slim to none. Okay, so prior to this whole coconut fast, y'all, I would probably only eat like twice a day. And typically, I wouldn't even eat until closer to like 11, 12, sometimes even up to 1 o'clock. Keep that in mind. So after this coconut fast, I didn't have hardly no appetite. I didn't really want to eat. And then also my tongue, like this part of it, the tip of my tongue, it felt weird. Like it felt like it was drier or something. My tongue felt odd. Only at the tip. So throughout that whole time, I didn't really eat as much, okay? I was having some cold spells with my hands and feet, which I knew, okay, that's probably linked to my blood flow. So what is causing my blood flow to not properly flow? What is going on? Then I was having tremblings. I looked up these symptoms, y'all. Prior to even going to the hospital, as soon as these symptoms came up, I will look up, I will research. I am a natural seeker, a natural person who wants my questions answered. I will look, I will search, and it's hard to find another shorty like. I looked up all of these symptoms, and the things that kept popping up was low blood sugar, low blood pressure, iron, but pretty much it just kept saying low blood sugar and pressure. So when I went to these hospital appointments, I kept on asking them, like, how is the blood sugar. And they tested it and they said that it was fine. So I'm like, okay, if they tested it and they said that it's not fine, but I feel like it's blood sugar. And then on top of that, I looked it up on the computer, not saying that everything on the computer is true. However, I just felt like that was the answer. And just because it's not coming up onto the hospital's little testing screens does not mean that it's not taking place. So anyway, after taking those electrolytes packets, after leaving the hospital after the second time, my husband made me a doctor's appointment with a PCP. Thank God for him, because that's a whole nother post. Back to this conversation. Back to reality. Oh, there goes gravity. Oh, come on, Eminem. Back to this conversation. Oh, so he made me the appointment with a PCP. Here goes some more insight, y'all. Cause I'ma just be y'all don't know. Y'all don't know, but I've been waiting to become pregnant again. I've been waiting to take you through my pregnancy process, y'all, because for the last three, I didn't really post it on my platforms, especially on here. The most that I posted was on Facebook and Instagram with the previous pregnancies, but never on YouTube and never with this much intel explanations. Okay, so this is going to be a real juicy ride. Okay, it's going to be real divine. Okay, so thank you for rocking with your girl. So he made me a doctor's appointment, y'all. I haven't been to the doctors in years. It seems like the only time that I go to a doctor, a hospital, it's pretty much because I'm pregnant. Excuse me, y'all. Excuse me. You know, it's the pregnancies. Like, nah, but made me an appointment because because at this point my husband is stressed. He's a little scared. He don't know what to do. He's tried everything, and your husband, your spouse, especially men, they naturally want to help fix things, provide, protect. And when they feel like they have tried it all and there's no resolve, then that's when they begin to get a little concerned. Like, hold on, wait, because I done did this, that, and it still didn't help. Oh, we got to take it up a notch now. So he made me an appointment. I went to go see the doctor. She is amazing. Thank you, doctor. That too was a emotional trip because I haven't been to the doctor. I don't really have as much trust in the system. So the fact that I was in the system in that way, I was like, oh God, like, where is this leading me to? Like, what's going on with my body? I was thinking that I had diabetes and that I was just about to fall apart. I didn't know what was about to come of this. So we went to the appointment. She took blood. That's a whole nother thing, y'all. I'm telling you, these last couple months, it's been an emotional, spiritual. It's been a death to a lot of things that I was once connected to, and it wasn't comfortable at all. But in hindsight, now I could see it from a different light. And this new perspective has been helping me to navigate through this pregnancy and, I mean, through life. So back to the appointment. We were in the appointment. She tested me. She checked my pee. She checked my blood. She asked me questions and all that good stuff. Throughout the appointment, now this was prior to her testing the pee and blood. She was like, well, it sounds like it could be a pregnancy. And I'm like, what? No, it don't. I don't know what type of pregnancy, sis, that you have, but this is not like any that I had. This don't sound like nothing like a pregnancy. No, can't be. Nada. And she was like, well, it kind of does because you've not been that hungry. You feel like you are more tired and she was just telling me all of these symptoms that I was all of these symptoms that I was telling her, she was like telling me, like, look, girl, these seem like pregnancy symptoms. And then she was like, so are you trying to conceive? Like, what is the take on that? And I told her, well, I mean, we are open for business. I mean, the gates are open here. The portal is all right. But he didn't think that this would be a pregnancy. My husband got a vasectomy, but then he had it reversed. But we believe that it is still in the process of taking time for that sperm to become fertile and active. So we don't think that this is a pregnancy, but we don't put on condoms and we don't do anything like that to stop it. So I told her that, and she was like, sis, you might be pregnant, but we're going to take a test. So she took the blood, she took the pee. I left. Later on that day, y'all, when I got them test results in that portal app, I'm going to put the clip here. I'm crying because I couldn't believe it. Couldn't believe it at all. It was like a flush of wow. So that was it. Like, I'm not sick. I'm not about to like spin out of health here. I'm
Oh
not
my
about
gosh.
to continue to go down this path of just not feeling like who I am and not knowing why. But when that happened, y'all, oh
Oh my
God,
gosh.
I can't even describe it. I'll have to save this for another clip because the backstory to the spacing in between my last pregnancy and this one, there's a story there. There's a story there. I don't talk about it. I've probably only talked about it with two people and my husband, of course. And when I found out that the test said pregnancy, all like that spacing from 2016 to now, it just all came into one big flow of like wow, like oh my god, like speechless. So when it popped up, I was looking like, hold on, this can't be right. Wait, hold on, is this what I think it is? Mm-mm. I think they are speaking in medical terms here, and maybe I'm not picking up what they putting down. So let me send the doctor a message because I need clarity.
I need clarity. I need clarity.
And this is where I'm going to stop it. Make sure to catch me back for part 2, y'all, because I got more to share. I love y'all. Thank you. Like and subscribe.